The third and final portion of exercise number 4. In the first portion of the exercise, we downloaded a shapefile from Google Drive, and we explored the data and learned a little bit about the map window application. In the second portion, we took and symbolized the map based on the gender of the county commissioner, and also labeled each of the polygons with a commissioner name. So in this final portion, this third part, what we want to do is a cartographic component. What we're going to go through the steps to do now is to create the actual map output. Now, before we do anything else, we want to make sure we save our project. So to do that, we're going to pick Project, Save, and we're going to navigate to the directory where you're going to be saving this project. And of course, I saved mine to the C drive, or at least I'm going to. You can save yours to your C drive. You can save it to your copy of Google Drive. It won't matter. The important thing is you remember where you saved it. So I'm going to save mine in a directory I created for lab exercises, and I'm going to save this project with the name of exercise 4, and we'll hit save. Okay, so we saved our project, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and talk then through the steps about the actual production of the map. We're going to pick print, and we're going to see a new window open up. This is a map window print layout, and we're going to resize this so that we can see as much of it as possible. This application is very much like other ones you've seen. There's a menu bar across the top, there's a toolbar, things of this nature. Let's talk first about the menu bar. Under File, there's a couple important points here. First of all, you have menu picks for Save and Save As. In Map Window, it's possible to have multiple map presentations for each project. So for example, you could create a map layout for a project that was tailored to one audience, and then you could turn around and create a second map layout referencing the same project that may have other information for a different audience. So in this way, you can have multiple map layouts, multiple presentations for each one of your projects. The other thing which is important here is the choosing of your printer. So let's go ahead and choose a printer now and get that out of the way. Now I don't want to actually print to my Canon printer because I'm not going to send this to a piece of paper. I'm going to send this to a PDF file. And so I'm going to hit the drop down. I'm going to pick the PDF printer that we installed in one of our previous exercises. And then I'm going to pick OK. So that's set the printer up. So now Map Window knows that we're going to go to a PDF file. One final item under File, which is important, and that's Page Setup. This is where you're going to be telling it the size of the page, its orientation, its margins, things of that nature. We'll go ahead and accept all the defaults. I just want to show you where it is. The major portion of the screen is the actual page that you're going to be printing itself. And so in this particular case, of course, you have the outer piece of paper. You have this inner line, which cartographers refer to as a neat line. And then you have the map itself and the title and things of that nature. Each one of these things, the title, the neat line, the map window logo, the map itself, all those are referred to as objects. They're things which make up the cartographic production. And over on this portion of the screen, you'll see that there's a list of things which represent the objects. So for example, we have an object on our layout referred to for our north arrow, and we also have over here in this listing of objects a corresponding north arrow. If we click the north arrow object, you'll notice that it's highlighted on the map with a dashed line so we know which one we're talking about. And down below it is another screen which opens up, which provides information about the properties associated with the north arrow. Now, properties are basically ways that we can control how the north arrow is presented to the user. For example, there's a property here for location, which tells us where on the page it's located. There's another property here for north arrow style. Now, maybe I don't like this arrow, so let's go ahead and we'll click next to it and get the little drop down, and let's pick a arrow N. Okay, so now we have a different type of north arrow. The reason it's changed is because we've changed this property. There's some other properties up here of interest too. For example, there's a property called the project name. Let's click on it. And you'll notice now the project name is highlighted in a dashed line. And one of the properties for the project name is text. This is what's actually displaying. You notice now it says exercise 4. Let's change this. Let's put in here a title of PSC 560, my first map, and then hit enter. So by changing the property for text, we've now changed the project name as it appears on the map. Another project object, or another object of importance, is this one called the map, obviously. So let's click on it. You notice now the map is highlighted by a dashed line. I don't really like the way this is presented to me because the map seems rather small for this big piece of paper. So I'm going to use some of these tools which have now lit up because I'm working with a map object. One of them is the zoom in. When I click it, you notice that the map gets larger and larger, so it uses up more of the paper. I'm thinking that looks pretty good, so we'll stop there. Now, you get a certain number of objects automatically, but you can create your own object, and there's one object that's not on this map which is very important, and that's your name. Okay, so we're going to create a new object. We're going to add another text box where we can put in your name. And to do that, we're going to pick the Insert Text tool, click it, and we'll put your name down here in the lower right corner somewhere. You notice the text box is popped up. You can see the dashed line. Let's go ahead and resize that. We'll get it inside the neat line. Make it a little bit larger. Now let's take a look at some of the properties around the text box. For example, here's the text box property for text. All right. Rather than having it simply say text box, let's go ahead and put in your name. I'm going to put in mine, you put in yours. Okay. Hit enter. Name appears a little small, so let's go ahead and click the plus here to pop open information about fonts. I don't like this Arial font. Let's pick a different font. Let's pick Comic Sans. That's as good as any. And then let's make it maybe 16 point, and we'll pick OK. Now, it's still a little small, but it's good enough for right now. We'll resize this box again. That way we can kind of bring it down so it fills up that lower corner. I'm pretty satisfied with this. So next thing we're going to want to do is save it so that, and then after that we'll go ahead and print it. So we're going to pick File. Now we're not going to pick Save. If we pick Save, it's going to save it as our default layout. We don't want to change the default layout. So let's go ahead and pick Save and then Save As. And we're going to save it in the same place where my lab exercises are. And we're going to call this exercise 4. And pick Save again. So now we have the layout saved, looks the way we want it, and let's go ahead and we'll actually print it. Now, of course, this is going to go to a PDF file, so Adobe's going to launch here in a second. But before that does, I should also mention that we need to tell PDF writer or printer where it's going to save this PDF file. And so let's click on the ellipse here so that we can give it a directory. I'm going to save it with my lab exercises, and I'm going to call this exercise 4. Click Save, and then click Save again. And now the Adobe will launch, and you'll have actually the printed output, not the printed, but the electronic output for your map. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and submit it. And I'm going to, now at this point, I'm going to save it to Google Drive so that your instructor can see it, right? That would be me. So we're going to pick File, we're going to pick Save As, and we're going to navigate to your Google Drive. We'll pick Google Drive. We'll pick, now you've got a folder out there called PSC 560 with your last name. We created it earlier when we installed Google Drive. This is where you're going to be storing your finished product that you're going to be submitting to me. So we'll just go ahead and double click on it. I already have an exercise number 4 out there, but you won't. So just go ahead and click on it, name it exercise number 4, and then click Save. In my case, I'm going to replace it. All right, so then to review. What we've done in this third and final portion of exercise 4 is we took the existing project, we created our map layout, we learned about objects and how to control the properties of objects. We exported it out to a PDF file, and then we uploaded it to Google so that your instructor can take a look at it. That was my example, my exercise. Your exercise is going to need to go through many of the same steps with one important distinction. When it comes time to symbolize this map, I don't want you to symbolize it by gender. I want you to symbolize it by party affiliation. Right? So rather than having districts which are color-coded by male and female, they'll need to be color-coded by either Republican or Democrat. You're still going to need to pull information down from Google Drive. You're still going to want to symbolize it, just some different attribute that you're going to be symbolizing on, and you're going to generate a map layout, and you're going to upload it to Google. And that concludes the third and final portion of exercise number 4.